Fire Emblem game has been around for a long time, with the first translated into English being Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade in 2003. It was Game Boy Advance SP compatible and kept kids awake all night because thanks to the built-in backlight, light out does no longer mean sleep time. After the success of Fire Emblem Treehouse, Fire Emblem Engage has been released. After finishing the game for the second time, I will do my best to provide constructive criticism and a compliment where they are due. 1,000 years ago, the failed dragon Sunbron attacked the land of Aelios. With the help of divine dragon Lumera, a group of brave warriors locked up Sunbron. However, Lumera's child Aelia was hurt and put to sleep. After 1,000 years of sleep, Aelia awakens and briefly sees Lumera. However, they have lost most of their memories and can only remember how to use their emblem ring. Meanwhile, undead creature called Corrupted started to appear all over Aelios, and the castle of Lumera is attacked by the army from the kingdom of Elusia. Lumera sacrificed herself to protect Aelia from the attack of the sorceress. Aelia becomes a pivotal protagonist in the fight against forces aiming to free Sunbron and must track down the 12 emblem ring, some of which are in the possession of the forces loyal to the failed dragon. Now that you know how the game begins, let's start by discussing the gameplay first. You start by choosing the main character's gender, or form to be exact in this game, which might irritate some people, but I don't mind until they force me to choose between a chair or a table because I happen to identify as a potato. Then you get to pick the game difficulty. For my first run, in order to get the feel for the game as an average player, I picked normal. If you pick hard mode, there will be more enemy deployed onto the map. These enemies are stronger than the one in normal mode. For maddening difficulty, even more and stronger enemy will be deployed. But the best part is that some enemy will now gain new abilities, and the save feature during battle is disabled, forcing you to think twice before hitting that confirm buttons. Honestly, I have to praise the development team for putting in the work and making sure each difficulty offers a new, unique experience for the player, compared to doing the bare minimum of just increasing enemy stat and calling the day like most JRPG nowadays. Classic and casual mode are available in addition to difficult setting. This toggle the permanent death option, which has been a feature of the Fire Emblem since its original NES release. I have played the Game Boy Advance version of Fire Emblem before and enjoyed it, so I'm going with the classic mode. You don't need to let your character die, of course. If you wish, you can reload the save and attempt a new strategy to ensure that everyone in your party make it out alive. Isn't classic mode reloading counterproductive? Well, not at all. Still, it's not quite the same as playing in casual since you can't afford to lose any of your character in this mode. While the latter, you can treat them like a pawn. In addition, there is a Draconic Time Crystal feature that allows you to go back in time to try different strategy without having to reload your save. This is infinite in normal difficulty but limited in hard and maddening difficulty. In my opinion, this is not cheating but rather a quality of life improvement. Even if the feature does not exist, you will reload the save regardless, even if it takes longer. Again, another W for the development team for allowing players to have so many options they can choose from to experience the game and making the game more appealing to a wider audience. Like most tactical RPG games, players command their unit to navigate a grid-based view. Your character can attack enemy within range. Before the battle, you can see how much damage you'll do, the order of critical hit, the order of avoiding damage. After you confirm your attack, the game will take you into the battle scene, which I think is the best part of the game. The animation, choreography, and pacing keep you on the edge. To truly appreciate that work, we must examine the history of tactical role-playing games. When it's come to combat in tactical role-playing games, there's usually two schools of thought. Fast and simple combat improve game flow, but they sacrifice the flashiness and satisfaction of the combat. However, investing in animation makes the fight more engaging, but watching the long animation every time slows down the game. And since you know most of it doesn't matter, the fight feels scripted. I know most modern games let you speed up or skip the animation, but hear me out here. Fire Emblem Engage balanced them perfectly. The battle scenes start quickly, the character running onto their target and attacking. The enemy can either take the damage or dodge it, and if they can counter-attack, they will do so quickly, making the battle feel more real than in turn-based RPG. Where the unit move up and perform the attack animation, then you wait to see if the attack land, then the unit reposition into their default stand, and finally they counter-attack. Additionally, there are multiple attack animations working with dynamic camera work, making each battle feel unique compared to using the static camera angle, which make most battles feel the same. Do I watch every fight now? Well, no, but it's well designed. In addition, the animate element can still be disabled entirely if you choose to do so. For a fan of traditional Fire Emblem game, the weapon triangle is still present in this version of the game. The axe defeated the spear defeated the sword, and the sword defeated the axe. If you hit the enemy with the weapon advantage, they will break. Break state, a unit cannot counter-attack for several turns. To avoid a counterattack, start an attack with a unit that break a unit, then finish it off with other unit. Rock, paper, and scissors may seem too simple to some, but don't worry, most characters depending on their classes can wield more than one type of weapon, so you can switch your rock, paper, scissors around to add depth. And unlike real life rock, paper, and scissors, they have stat. For example, if they play a rock and your scissors are very big, despite the type advantage, it will still kill them. If that's still too simple, Fire Emblem has a feature called Slayer Effect, which grants extra damage if you attack the matching type of unit. As a result, there are numerous weapons to choose from for various situations. And don't forget that combat art, in addition to the weapon triangle, can break a bow, tomb, and knife. Aside from the weapon triangle, units have class and type that represent their strengths and weaknesses, and they are designed to fill a specific role. For example, flyers such as a Pegasus Rider have high magic resistance and high mobility, including the ability to fly over most terrain. Their primary role is to take out mages, and depending on the character, some of them may do a good job of taking a lead as well. However, all flyers are vulnerable to Archer, and majority of the Archer will easily one-shot your flyers. There are armor units that are made to tank everything. They have low mobility, but if they get into any physical battle, you can expect them to eventually come out on top. And they are amazing at holding a choke point. However, a magic user can deal tons of damage to them because they have low magic resistance. If a backup type character is in range when you attack, they will also join in on their attack unless something is preventing them from doing so, such as the weapon they are currently holding. The supporting attack doesn't do a lot of damage to prevent them from being extremely deadly, but they are really accurate, making even the most evasive unit have difficult time dodging. Do not underestimate the amount of damage that can be done, and keep in mind the enemy can also use this feature as well. Follow-up mechanic let character with 5 or more attack speeds that attack twice. The second attack will follow after the enemy counter-attack. When building your character, keep in mind that weapon weight, character build stat, and unit speed all affect the final speed stat. When using the Brave weapon, you will always attack twice. If you trigger a follow-up attack, you will attack 4 times. Smash weapons, on the other hand, do not initiate following up attack, and do not strike first. Most of the time, they will hit very hard and push the target back when they hit. If the unit being pushed back is blocked by wall or another unit, they will enter a break state, allowing for interesting play. The main feature of this game is called Engage. This allows the player to summon a hero from the past game and fuse them with playable character, increasing their stat and giving them new ability. Sounds like a great idea for a long-running series, right? I mean, they did that with Doctor Who and the MCU. However, in comparison to this title I just mentioned, the average Western Fire Emblem player doesn't have a deep connection with the series because many of them start with Treehouse and at most Awakening. As a result, the Engage feature may not create strong emotion for an average player. However, even if it does not persuade many people to try the game, it will at least pique the interest of those who do give the game a chance to check out the older title. So next, we are going to be talking about the customization of the character, and we'll start by expanding more on the Engage feature. Each hero spirit live inside the emblem ring. To be clear, the story does say that these spirits are not the actual character, but they do have their memories and powers. These rings are treated as equipable items, but they do not take up inventory space. As I previously stated, any character can wear any ring, and the ring will provide them with a stat boost as well as a variety of useful ability. Needless to say, each ring includes a super move that slides through the enemy like butters. This results in a variety of interesting and unique builds that I'm sure many people will enjoy exploring. Yunaga and Corrin were a popular pairing when I played because Corrin allowed the unit to create a fog terrain that increased all friendly unit evasion rate, and Yunaga has a passive ability that increases her crit point by 15 if she's in the evasion terrain. Corrin also has ability pair up which prevent damage from enemy chain attack, allowing them to take on the army on their own. Aside from the emblem ring, there is a lesser version known as a bond ring. They appear in the form of a playable unit from various Fire Emblem titles. As you get more emblem ring, they will become less useful, but some will give a unit a new ability. The problem with bond ring is that they can only be obtained through gacha. This ring can be purchased with bond fragments, but like fan of the new Velma show, they are rare compared to how expensive everything is. One ring will cost you 100 bond fragments, and this ring range in rank from C to S. You can save time by spending 1000 fragments to roll for 10 rings at once. The drop rate of this ring is proportional to their rarities. Fortunately, they allow you to combine the weaker ring into the stronger one. However, combining an A tier ring into an S tier ring will cost you up to 10,000 fragments. A playable unit may also inherit ability from the emblem. which enable the unit to use the inherit ability even if it's not paired with the emblem at the time of use. This is a fantastic feature for any RPG game because we gamers enjoy mixing and matching different builds on different characters. In order to do this, you must raise the bond rank between the unit and the emblem by pairing your favorite unit with the emblem you want to strengthen. The higher the bond rank, the stronger ability will become available. This ability can now be used in battle while the unit is wearing the emblem ring. Now, to inherit them, you must pay another currency known as skill point. Skill point can be gained by wearing an emblem ring or bond ring in battles. However, if you wear a bond ring, you will only receive 50% of the skill point. The amount that you can gain is relatively slow in comparison to how quickly you will spend them, and this will be common theme throughout the games. The skill can then be purchased between 100 and 8,400 skill point. If you hadn't noticed, each character has their own skill point pool, so you can share them. Now, a character in Fire Emblem can carry up to 5 different items, but don't forget to check that your unit are of the right class to use those weapons. These weapons have no durability, so you can use them repeatedly. Consumable like potion exist alongside weapon. Durable wand are available for some classes. It's also worth noting that in this game, using wand ability like healing will grant unit experience point. Weapon can be upgraded by improving their stat or developing them into higher tier weapons of the same type. But that will cost you material and gold, which are again hard to come by. The player can also engrave weapon with emblem to make them stronger, but some engraving also have stat penalty. Apart from equipment, player can pick their unit classes. Some units have unique classes. Changing classes will affect the unit stat and class ability, as well as allowing them to use different weapons and gain bonus stat growth. Furthermore, each character's base stat growth is unique. For example, Whale has a high growth stat in magic, which makes her suitable for a mage classes. The class can be changed at any time if you can meet its requirement, and if you reach the maximum level and want to continue growing, you can switch the class to the same one again to reduce the level to 1, but keep all the stat. Fire Emblem Engage map design should have served as a template for many tactical role-playing games. Since their previous title, they've done an excellent job. There are a variety of interesting map mechanics, from something as simple as brushes that increase your unit evasion and terrain that reduce character movement to something more advanced like a dark map on which the character can only see a small portion in front of them. Although this is nothing new, there are many different ways the player can interact with it in this game. For example, you can carry a torch or light up the lamp on the map. If player have permanent death turned on, the enemy can extinguish the lamp frames, keeping the player on edge. You never know if a scary man with a big axe will jump out of the darkness and attack your weak mage. Miasma and other terrain effects make it harder for your unit to avoid attack and defend itself, while doing the opposite for the enemy. This makes it hard to fight in that area, but there are many ways to get rid of them, such as using the character abilities. Oh, and don't forget that because the flyers in the air, most of this won't affect them. Additionally, it won't be fair to overlook how much work they put into the UI design during the combat. Everything from a unit movement range to their stat and type can be examined, especially the one you care about, such as base stat and weapon advantages, are being displayed. In fact, the game will warn you if the opponent has a high critical chance against your unit. For a fan of tactical role-playing game, this is much appreciated. After the battle, you will be able to explore the battlefield you just fought on. You can speak with an ally nearby to obtain some bond fragments. Even if you don't talk to everyone, you'll get all of the bond fragment anyway. And believe me, there are a lot of characters to talk to, so thanks for giving us that option. You can also find bond fragments, food ingredients, and equipment upgrades on the ground. This, however, must be collected manually. I didn't mind doing it at first, but it's quickly become a chore. And while I know I don't have to pick them up, those weapons aren't going to upgrade themselves, and I also need cooking ingredients to cook food for the homies to get them stronger before each fight, plus increasing their support level. While I understand that they want us to appreciate the work they put into modeling the environment, and it's really so when I walk around. But trust me, most players would rather receive the reward immediately after they complete the battle, just like any other RPG. I'm not saying get rid of the feature, I am saying streamline the dang process, especially for late games. Yes, I know a number of material per node increase, but the thing is, I still have to walk to every single node. I say maybe let me send Somniel to collect all of it for me. You know what, I'll even pay him to do it. What is Somniel, you ask? Well, more about him later. When exploring the map, you may find some local animal which you can pick up and take home. Can you pet and play with them, you ask? Nope. They're only for viewing. Why bother? Well, that is up to you if you don't care about upgrading your weapon and feeding your hungry friends, because these animals poop foods and materials, and guess what? They respawn every time you return from a mission, so get used to picking them up. Not to mention, while you're at it, there are a lot of shiny drop on the floor that you can pick up around the base as well, and yes, they're spawned every time you return from the mission, so get ready to bend your booty down and pick them up one by one for the rest of your life, if you will. When you are not killing things, you can chill on your little islands called Somniel with other allies you recruit along the way. Here, you can do a lot of activity, which sounds like a good thing, but let me tell you what I think about all of this. Here, you can talk to your friends to advance their bond. Oh sorry, that's for the emblems. The playable unit version is called support level. There are multiple ways you can increase your support level. One of them is to bring the unit into the battle with you, and if the multiple characters stand next to each other when they perform an action or attack, they will get some support point. There are other ways you can gain support points, such as by giving them gifts or just talking to them. Don't forget to check to see what they like to avoid wasting resource. In any case, if you or one of the unit have enough support point to level up, you can talk to them and watch some cool scene. Everyone have a support rank from C to A among their group of friends. As you progress through these levels, the unit will receive bonus such as stat boosts. In the arena, you may get the characters to train with each other. This also increases their support stat and level, but you can only do it 3 times every time you come back from battle. It does not cost anything though, so don't forget to train every time it's available. Another thing you can do in the arena is train different characters with the emblem of your choice. This does not give any experience point, but increase the bond level between the 2 characters you have chosen. And yes, you guessed it, it's gonna cost bond fragments. So if you don't mind waiting, you can simply strengthen the bond by equipping the emblem onto the characters and fighting alongside them. At the end of the day, I use this feature a lot to rush some key ability I want my unit to have. If you have DLC, Elder Guard has an ability that increases experience gain by 20% that can be inherited as well. In the cafe area, you can talk to the bot and donate money to a different region. This unlocks more animal type to adopt and increase material drops. You will also unlock better gold and experience skirmish. When you donate a certain amount, you will be rewarded with weapons, bond fragments, and other resources. They are maxed out at level 5. Consider donating early because it will help you gain more resources in the long run. You can also see if you complete any achievement and obtain bond fragment as a reward. Don't neglect this, it's really add up. Next is the meal feature, which lets you cook using ingredients to boost support between characters you invited to eat, and your party will enter the next battle with increased stat. Each character has a favorite and least favorite meal, each with its own set of ingredients. Additionally, the cook has both dishes they are excel at and dishes they are struggle with. If the food is bad, the party will get a stat debuff for the next battle. There are a lot of things to keep track of, but the UI design by the development team does a good job of making the process easier. Basically, if you make sure that everyone like their food and the cook is an expert at the dish, everything should be good. The character can also take leftover into battle in a bento to heal. Now let's discuss my favorite part of Fire Emblem Engage, the mini-games in Somniel. There are multiple mini-games you can play for fun, and they also reward you for playing. To gain bond rank, we start by cleaning the emblem ring. While the concept may appear silly, its function is quite useful. After all, the other choice are to use the bond fragment in the arena or take them into battle. Why I don't believe this is intentional? I'm sure the emblem agree that this is a strange activity based on what they say while being clean.
No need to focus there.
To keep your character in shape, we have a strength training minigame in which the player must press the correct button as if they were playing Dance Dance Revolution game, but without the cool music. There is also a version where you must repeatedly press the button, which is a lot of fun, and the best part is that when you finish having fun, you will be rewarded with a generous amount of bond fragment ranging from 50 to 200, as well as a stat buff for the next battle. But just in case my sarcasm is not clear, what I want to say is that they managed to make simple activity feel extremely long and tedious, despite the fact that I'm only working at normal intensity. No thanks, I have enough fun today. Our next attraction is Vibrant Riding, in which you ride a Vibrant and shoot as many targets as possible. Let this be a secret between you and me, but the most exciting thing about it is when I'm getting off. Of course, without incentive or minuscule amount of bond fragments. And no modern game is complete without fishing minigames. You pull the fish toward you by holding the L analog in the opposite direction the fish is going. And when it gets close, you start punching them in the face until they give up. To be honest, I am not sure what you do with the fish, but the sound effect make it sound like you're punching it. Anyway, this minigame is the most fun so far, and unlike most other, you can do it 3 times every time you return from battle before they stop giving out that sweet generous amount of 20 to 100 bond fragments. Lastly, we have Somniel. What is Somniel? Well, I don't know what it is either, but according to the game, it's outlive a lot of its friends. But if you ever play Monster Hunter, you recognize him as the pig from that game. You can dress him up, pet him, feed him, and he'll reward you with bond fragments. Oh, and you take care of him well, he'll assist you while you're playing those other fun minigames. I can't believe it, but just like the minigame, they have to make the animation last so long. And for some reason, I cannot skip it. Let's see how much bond fragment you can gain per cycle if you do everything. First, you get 50 from each person post-battle. Let's say 900 including those you have to pick up from the ground. I'm being generous here. Then 900 from doing all the minigame at max intensity. Each battle yield around 1800. That gives you 18 bond rings. Remember that bond ring merging costs 100 to 10,000 depending on the tiers, and there are 123 to obtain. By the way, I am only counting the S rank since the rest are useless anyway. And if you need to know, there are 492 rings in total. If you want to train with the emblem ring, each level will cost 100 for each bond rank, and it maxes out at rank 20. There are 12 base emblem and 37 playable characters, with the number growing with the DLC. To get everything to its maximum potential, it will require a total of 888,000 fragments. If you take it for what it is, it's pretty bad. However, after completing the game, I can assure you that the amount they give you is far more than sufficient to complete it. The game can be won while maxing out everyone on your roster or main party. They likely want to make resource management a big part of the game because there are no new game plus mode, and the developer intend to keep extending your journey through DLC. It makes sense to make it take time to max out everything. If you use the traditional RPG like Final Fantasy and Persona series where you can max out everything and get every item by the end of your journey, you might find this one a little frustrating. I have accepted it and will pay without worrying about maxing everything out. Nevertheless, I still have complaints. And that is why they seem to think that dispersing the resource so widely is a good idea. Imagine that you're prepared to pick up your shake and leave after a long day at work. The front desk then hand you a handful of coin and inform you that you must visit 5 different individuals who will hand you a bit of cash each. To make the matter worse, this individual take an inordinate amount of time to hand you over the cash, and they also force you to do some tedious tasks or else they won't pay you. I mean, someone on the design team happened to think that going around picking up items over and over again is fun. Well, isn't that what you do in any JRPG? Here, listen, every time I open a chest in another game, I'm excited because I don't know what's inside. It could be a new weapon, a stronger weapon, rare item, or just a common potion. Back to Fire Emblem Engage, everything I pick up is pretty much at the level of excitement of a common potion, and I even have to pick up a currency. Not to mention that somehow they believe that these minigames are so fun that the player will love to repeat them every time they finish the mission. And on top of that, they will be satisfied with the reward they get from the time they spend. JRPG fan may recall the fortune teller from Persona 5 Royal. She can do a lot of cool things, but her main draw is that you can speed up your relationship with other characters. As you know, Fire Emblem Engage has a support level, a relationship system, and a fortune teller. This is great because there are so many characters in this game and I love to max out their support. But like Coronel Sander without a deep fryer, he does nothing. Talking to him will reveal any character current worries and who they are thinking about. Anyone seeing this will expect you to be able to do something with the information, but you can't do jack. So why is this in the game? I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll fix it later, but for now, I'll be thinking of Jack. Why not be able to do him? Of course, there are shops available in your base where you can buy weapons and upgrade them. Consumables and gifts can also be purchased here. Some items are limited until they are restocked, and some will never be restocked. There are also a dress-up shop, but the quality of these clothes is low and sort of make you look like an NPC. Maybe except for the swimming suit, but I can understand that it is just not possible to have good unique clothes for everyone since the cast is so large. Anyway, I think the most disappointing aspect of this is that dressing up is Somniel only function. During battle, all the characters will wear their class default costume. And I don't know about you, but for me, the big appeal of dressing up is to swag or look as stupid as possible while you're kicking asses on the battlefield. The trial is a mode where you can scale the level of the enemies, and the higher they are, the more reward you get. However, you must complete multiple maps in a row. The unique reward you can get here are skill point books and stat crystal. You can use them to strengthen your engaged weapon stat. Finally, you can obtain the Bane books that create a Slayer effect to engage weapon that don't already have one. You will also gain experience at the end of each map, but not when taking action as you would on a normal mission. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is where you go watch something else, preferably more of my video. I won't be retelling the story too much and we'll just go directly into a review. Okay, so the premise of the story is about a hero and his friends' quest to gather all the magical items and use them to defeat the big boss. However, the big boss happened to be gathering this item as well. In addition, there will be a hero from the franchise who will help the hero on their quest. Sorry, I might have gotten the clip mixed up. But I have no problem with the premise being similar to other series since it's still being told by a different group of people, and of course, the actual detail of the story will be different. However, the problem that can be seen throughout is the consistency of the character and the poor treatment of the character development. Our hero, Alias, awoke from 1,000 years of sleep with amnesia, much to the surprise of her party. However, not long after, the party is ambushed by the corrupted. While everyone is eager to fight, Alias hesitated and suggested they should run, much to the surprise of Sander.
Shall we fight them? As you wish, Divine One. You whose bravery knows no equal.
No, let's run.
Huh?
We haven't the slightest idea who they are, and we don't know how they came to be here. Also, they worry me for some reason. So, we run.
Did the Divine Dragon really command me to retreat?
During one of the interview of the developer, they did mention that they want to make Alien more relatable, so they made them say some unheroic things. However, a few seconds later, after their friends become surrounded, Alien pretty much lose that character trait and confidently asks to join the battle.
Vander!
Divine One, stay back. It's too dangerous.
Clan and Fram were trying to protect me. I have to help them. I take back what I said. This is no time to run. Please, let me fight.
All right, but stay on your guard.
Sure, you need the character to fight to progress the story, but at least show some hesitation with their word or body language. It's cool when the coward transforms into a hero because it's a battle whip ends as well as a physical one. However, this will keep happening as the story goes on, but they will only talk about it straight occasionally. Eventually, one of Alia's battle core changed to become I am not afraid anymore.
This is it! I'm not afraid anymore.
Character development is shown, but what exactly make them develop? There are no story beat or scene that are dedicated to this development. The characters just happen to change. Well, I know they level up, but I need to see them in story. The story pacing is extremely fast and that is not a bad thing. However, some part of the story need more time for the audience to feel invested. Queen Lumira was introduced as early as the first level after Alia wakes up, then immediately got killed off 2 more levels after. In terms of story time, you met her in the morning and she died at night. The scene in which Alia sobbed over Lumira's body is probably the worst handle of any death scene, apart from killing Lumira's too fast. Don't forget that Alia also has amnesia, making Lumira pretty much a stranger to her. They even show Alia refusing the gift from Lumira, who promised Alia that gift before she went to sleep. Because they mentioned that Lumira's promise was not to them, so they will not accept the gift until they regain their memories, making it even more surprising how distressed Alia was during Lumira's death. I mean, there are ways that some other series handle this kind of scene with an amnesic characters, as example having them cry but being perplexed as why they did so, or just showing anger instead.
Don't hold back, Lee. Promise?
Fighting the brainwashed evil version of your friends is also a big part of this game. Unfortunately, this is likely one of the worst stories about this trope, as most of the time when you meet the character, they die not long after, only to be brought back to life and fight against you with no time for you to grow attached to the character. I think the only time I feel something was in Marvel Someone Against You, as he's one of the few characters that has enough screen time for you to care about. There are more characters that got treated pretty poorly in terms of character arc and development, but I'll just be repeating myself at this point, so let's move on. Even with the poor writing, The writing team core message managed to reach me. That core message is of course being engaged, or the desire to be with someone you care about who feel the same way about you. Now, that does not always have to be a romantic one. There are many elements that the writer incorporate into the story, such as when the emblem is being summoned by Aelia or Rumela, the emblem is being able to talk and express how they feel. However, when they are summoned by the failed dragon side, they are not able to talk, showing a false engagement or a bad relationship. More can be seen with Zephyr, who wanted to have a child of her own with Sombron. However, Sombron is not interested.
Make children of my own.
Family is function and utility. You put blood in, you get loyalty out. My children owe me their lives, their love, their absolute dedication.
Family. What a revelation. I would like to make one of these children. With you.
You have a child with me.
Please, Lord Sombron.
Now is not the time. But I will consider it after the war, after my ambitions are served.
So she recruits the house as a pseudo family. Despite treating them better than others, she still considered them not to be her real family and ended up killing Marnie in the end.
Girl.
However, during her last moment, she realized that she has no need to seek out genuine family, as she already has one that she has overlooked.
You were like a mom to me, and a big sister. Honestly, even a god. The most important person in the world to me.
Chris, I don't like this joke.
It's no joke. I'd follow you anywhere, dummy.
You're right. How could I have been so blind? The one thing I always wanted, staring me in the face all the while. If only I had realized.
Even Sombron himself is searching for a preferred partners, which is Emblem Zero, and he is willing to give anything up to be with Emblem Zero again, neglecting those around him who actually love him.
You chose to be alone, yet continued to look for this emblem. Why?
Perhaps I wanted someone to appreciate how far I had come, all on my own. Someone to see me, who I am, after millennia of being cast away.
I could have been that person. Or Vale. Or our siblings. Why didn't you let us?
This contrasts sharply with Aelia ending, in which she reminisces about her time with the emblem, but unlike the failed dragon crew, she does not forget that they are in the past, and now she has others who will support her in the present.
Shine on, emblem of beginnings! Worth a try. I wonder if we'll ever meet again.
Aha! I knew we'd find you in here!
We must have looked everywhere.
Everyone.
The coronation is going to start any minute now.
All right, time to get changed, unless you're wearing that.
Yeah, I guess I should, huh?
Well, hurry up! Come on!
Whoa, okay, I'm coming.
While we seek for someone we want to be with, sometimes we forgot about those who want to be with us. This message is clear to me. Despite the mediocre story, the character in Fire Emblem Engage are great. Mika Picasso design are very modern and have a lot of anime elements in this. They also have beautiful saturated color style, and the character shapes all the way to their clothing are very well designed. I only wish they put in same work when it's come to those purchasable costumes. Additionally, most of them have pretty charming and memorable trait and personality, some more than others, but I don't expect all of the characters to be interesting to me when there are so many. Elcris is one of the characters I've grown to really like. Compare this to Alien, where a developer tried to make her relatable just because. Elcris is naturally relatable. He's a character that doesn't have much self-confidence and is shown in his dialogue and action, but when it's time to fight, despite sounding reluctant, he will force himself to fight. It is relatable because I can see the inner conflict of the character where one does not want to fight, but the other will fight for their country.
What do you think about this, Alchrist?
Me?
If I die and Diamant alongside me, you will take the throne.
Father, don't say that.
I will not let that pass. I will protect Diamant to the bitter end.
Alchrist.
The 3D models themselves are also of a high quality and they are able to show many kind of expression well. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about the voice acting. And yes, I play in English. While some of the voice actings are excellent, much of it is subpar and will most likely ruin the immersion that exists.
I was just doing what any prince would do for his queen.
That's mom to you. My son tries to act so cool, so detached.
I've got an emblem ring. It'd be so easy to kill her.
Sorry, everyone. I didn't realize she was still on Elusia's side.
I won't give you the rings. And I won't let you kill Queen Sephoria.
Ah! No! Stop trying to get in my head, all right? I'll kill her. I'll do it!
Well, get on with it then.
I have been watching some of the Japanese dub video and I say it's a superior version. However, I will still play in English because I just want to listen and not read. Each character has their own mini story during the support level, in which they interact with the other character in their groups. During the interview, the developer team mentioned that there are over 650 conversations between the characters. And don't forget that all of these characters also have bond conversation with every single emblem, which confirmed that there are more than 1300 conversations. So I have to thank them for putting in so much work into this. The Wave 2 DLC has just been released when I was making this video. The quality of the DLC, in my opinions, is pretty good. You are getting more emblem and new map to play with, and all of them come with a new dialogue and bond animation to every characters. There are new features that allow you to increase the support rank between your character even more, making it easier for a completionist, but we still need a simpler way to earn those resources. While there are flaws in the story, steep progression, and some annoyance in the game loop that come from the development team trying to keep all the idea rather than pick a few and develop them as best as possible, I do feel that the core gameplay of Fire Emblem Engage is just too great, and I am willing to forgive all the flaws and recommend it to any JRPG lover, especially if you are into tactical genre. It is hard today to just chip the game and sell just the combat loop. So many developers try to incorporate all of this minigame activity, and at the end of the day, I believe they still have a lot to improve in that regards. But for everything you expect from Fire Emblem game, this game definitely succeeds at delivering it. You might be surprised to learn that this mentality of trying to include as many elements as possible date all the way back to the original Fire Emblem development team. That story is definitely worth your times, and I suggest checking out that video next.